Have you ever wondered what goes on in your brain? Now, this is a question that scientists are trying to answer. But before I go on, let me paint a picture for you. You're walking downstairs and you pass by the kitchen, and then you smell chocolate cake. Now you have a decision. What should you do? Should you go into the kitchen and get the chocolate cake, or should you just walk ahead? By the end of this video, you get an idea of what we're trying to understand in this decision. And in order to understand what is going on in your brain, we need to first understand what is inside your brain. And inside our brains, we have these cells that talk to each other that are called neurons. And in humans, there are 80 billion neurons. That is a lot. So instead, we use flies. And yes, flies do have brains. Flies are like our sidekicks in science. So we use them because they're so small. And their brains are even smaller. They have only 100,000 neurons compared to a human brain. That's very tiny. And because it's so small, we can easily take it into pieces and then scan it up using a special scanner that puts it up onto our computer. And once we have it up in our computer, we can trace these neurons. So we can get the shape of it. And we can see what neurons talk to each other. And then eventually we're trying to get something that looks like this. So all of those that you just saw are neurons inside a single fly brain. So what we're trying to understand is which neuron talks to which neuron to produce a behavior. For example, right? So let's say you're in the kitchen, down there, going towards the kitchen, right? And you smell chocolate cake. First of all, there needs to be a neuron that can smell that smell. For flies, they love vinegar. So there's a neuron that smells the smell, and this neuron tells another neuron, hey, we can smell the smell. What should we do? And all of these neurons talk to each other, and eventually they reach a decision. And the decision is either, should we go towards that vinegar or chocolate cake for humans? Or should we go away from it? Or should we do something else? Now, all of this is going on in the brain. So understanding which neurons talk to each other will help us better understand what is going on in the brain. So if we go back to the first example that I started with, what will you do when you're walking down and you pass by the kitchen and you smell chocolate cake? What will you do? Well, that's up to you, but it all happens inside your brain.